Hi everyone, I'm Maddie. I'm the plant manager here at Soarce, and today I'm going to be taking you through how to dose our product into your binder system. Dosing order, mixing speed, and equipment are all imperative to ensure optimal formulation. Today we're going to be making an example formulation using our Aglyte C-Series product at 1% and a polyurethane waterborne emulsion that has a solids loading of 35%. Our final formulation will be 0.25% Aglyte solids and 10% polyurethane solids. Here is a table with all of the masses of all of the products that we will be using today so you can follow along. For today's example formulation, I'm going to be making 500 grams of our final formulation. I'm going to need 125 grams of our Aglyte C-Series at 1%. I'm going to need about 232 grams of distilled or deionized water. And I'm going to need about 143 grams of our 35% solids polyurethane binder system. It's very important that we mix together our Aglyte and our water first to ensure a homogeneous mixture before adding in our binder system. With that being said, let's get to it. So I'm going to begin, as I said earlier, by mixing our deionized water with our Aglyte first. This is super important to ensure we have a homogeneous mixture. I'm using a Silverson high shear overhead mixer to do this, but you can also opt to use just a normal overhead mixer as well. Depending on what equipment you use, you're going to have to use a different RPM and a different mixing time. For this particular instrument, we will be doing 5,000 to 10,000 RPM for 5 to 10 minutes. That will ensure that we have all of our cellulose suspended perfectly in our deionized water. If you are using a product that is a higher weight percent, such as 10% or higher, you're going to have to use a high shear mixer rather than an overhead for this step. So I'm going to start by adding my cellulose into my water first. I weighed the cellulose out into a weigh boat because it slides right into the mixture perfectly, so we make sure we get all of that nanofiber in there. You want to make sure your mixer head is fully submerged, and as I said before, we're going to do 5,000 to 10,000 RPM for 5 to 10 minutes. You want to ensure that you're getting a good flow of all of the liquids in the mixture. And if you're using a bigger volume of liquid, you're probably going to have to use on the higher end of the 5,000 to 10,000 RPM range. So to know if you have a homogeneous cellulose water dispersion, it should look something like this. If it was not stable, you would see some settling and some sedimentation at the bottom. But because this is completely homogeneous, we are good to go and add in our binder. So now that I have my homogeneous Aglyte water suspension and I have my polyurethane binder weighed out, I'm going to go ahead and start mixing it. So one thing to consider when mixing with an overhead mixer is that sometimes they tend to spin too fast and whip the binder. We do not want that. We don't want any foaming of our final formulation. So we recommend a mixing range of about 300 to 2,000 RPM for 25 to 30 minutes. So basically like a low and slow speed. I'm going to transfer these to a bigger beaker so that I can go ahead and start mixing. So I put my water and cellulose mixture in first, and I'll get that stirring. And at the very beginning, I like to start at the lower end of our RPM range. So this one is at 300, just to get it moving, get all the cellulose flowing. Now I'm going to start to add in my polyurethane binder. I like to do this while it stirs to make sure we're getting that homogeneous mixture. Take a spatula, make sure you get all of your binder in there to ensure optimal formulation. And like I said, we go low and slow. I'm currently mixing at 300 RPM. I'm going to go ahead and bump that up a little bit now that we have all of our liquid in there. to about 500. You want to make sure your mixer head is fully submerged, and you also want to make sure that you are not getting any bubbles or any splashing in the formulation as you're mixing, because that will start to cause foaming, and we don't want that. So now I'm going to let this mix for 25 to 30 minutes to make sure we have a homogeneous, stable final formulation. And now you have your final formulation ready to use. In the next videos, we're going to showcase how to measure viscosity and rheology so you're able to further confirm the stability of your final formulation. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us, and good luck.